Hey, how are you? I bet you didn't know that the fortress had a casino just underneath it, did you? But don't tell anyone, it's very unofficial, and I think you know what I mean. Yeah, so what do you think? I can see you looking around. It's pretty authentic, isn't it? We went into a lot of detail here. We've got a row of slot machines down, can you see there, down that cavern wall. And down there's a roulette table. It's down the back. Sorry. Oh, I thought that's what you said. No. We couldn't afford Kylie. I promise you we tried, but that bloody Voltaire, or whatever it is, they were just throwing money all over the place. But, you might be impressed. Have a look. Just see behind you. Swing open that door. Go on, give it a go. Swing it open. You can't believe it, right? Yep. I got her here for 2 hours every single night in exchange for some brown hair dye and an agreement to model some petites. Not too shabby. Okay, so Spill, you're not here for the blackjack, are you? Did someone tell you that I have all the gossip on the KYLIE Vegas shows? Okay, alright, well, yeah. For all of us suckers who couldn't get there, I actually do have the very next best thing. I've got an awesome description of the show from someone who was there. You may have heard of them. Minor Misdemeanor. Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay. Well, they told me they were fairly famous. Oh, well. You're going to hear from them really, really soon. And I've also got a controversial review for you. Because you know how the media are just singularly glowing about the Vegas shows. And that's all nice. I mean, that's fantastic. But tonight, you're going to hear the truth. Even if you don't like it. This is the only place where you're going to hear a proper review of the KYLIE Vegas shows. So what do you say? Do you want to have a sit down or go and get you a drink? Come on, tell me, what'll it be? Hold your horses, honey. We don't do that here. No, we don't. You can choose between a Vegas high and a disremembrance. What do you mean you've never heard of a disremembrance? Who cares? Anyway, you're getting a Vegas high. So I promised you this description of Vegas shows. Well, here it goes. It all began in early November when a small blonde woman from Melbourne arrived in Vegas with just an entourage of makeup artists and a designer dress on her back. She wandered into the casino wondering where her custom-made room was. Coming to you from the mountain fortress of pop culture. You're listening to Time to Talk.
And, I mean, God forbid when I have P&T, you wouldn't want to come near me. I'm horrible.
Vegas high. Yeah.
Minor Misdemeanor, welcome to Time to Talk.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm really good. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
What an amazing name. Minor Misdemeanor. How'd you come up with that?
Well, my drag mother's name is Felony Misdemeanor, so that's the ultimate misdemeanor. So I decided I'd be the little misdemeanor.
You have a drag mother? I have so much to learn. That's so awesome.
Yes, drag mother, drag siblings, and drag children. So
Wow. Okay. Yeah, just conjured up for me like someone a little bit mischievous, someone who gets up to a bit of mischief, but not too much. Just a minor misdemeanor.
Just a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
Just a little bit. Now listen, you went and saw Kylie in Vegas, and I, first of all, hate you. I'm jealous of you. How dare you? You're probably not even as big a fan as me, and you got to see her. It's not fair. So I've got that out of my system.
Yep. No worries. I'd hate me too.
Yeah. Good. What was it like? Tell us all.
Well, I was lucky enough to go on opening night. I'm a huge Kylie fan ever since I was about 11 or 12 years old. I'm 34 now, so it's been quite some time. And
that's no mean feat, is it, in America? Because you're in the United States, so it's hard being a Kylie fan over there.
It really is because luckily, like, I am first generation American, so I'm Polish. So everything that like compilation CDs I got from like my brother or my family, they
Ah,
always had Kylie Minogue songs on there. And so that's how I kind of got to know her. And then it just like I realized like nobody knew who she was out here really in my teens. And I would always have to sing like, oh, the song La La La. And so people would get it, or I'd say the locomotion and they'd be like, oh. But as I've grown older out here, more and more people definitely know her. It just always shocks me that like she has like a stronger fan base out here than what I feel they project out there for America, at least in the queer community. Like, obviously, we all love her so much.
yeah, and look,
So,
I admire all the fans from the United States who listen to this show, and there's a lot. We know there's a strong Kylie underground presence. Well, Padam brought it up to the surface a little bit, I
yes.
think, but I admire all of you who, like you, who've hung in there for the hard yards, not been able to go down to the CD shop back in the day and just pick up the Kylie CD without having to ask the idiot behind the counter, "Hey, have you got a Kylie CD?" So we can go, "Who's
But
Kylie?"
literally, but it makes it so much easier too for me at the same time because like we used to have this really cool store called Independent Records and they would have like posters and stuff for like with advertisements, and when they were done advertising they'd give it to you.
There was
So
no fight for the posters, was there? There was.
exactly. I have like this huge giant like X cardboard poster like for sailing
Wow.
and for selling and stuff, and I have that one, a body language one. So I
Wow.
always I was like, great, I don't gotta like fist fight or throat punch anybody
I've
for
got this
one. So
horrible image now of all this Kylie merchandise in a huge trash can in an alleyway in the United
ah,
States because, yeah, that's probably where most of it ends up. Whereas in the rest of the world, yeah, there's 100 Kylie fans going, "Can I have that?" Or stealing it before it even goes
yes, I would
offline.
gladly go dumpster diving for her. So but yeah,
I've been
Padam
known to
has
do that.
definitely brought her more to the surface, and it's exciting. I mean, I kind of roll my eyes when people are all of a sudden like, "Oh, I'm a Kylie fan. Have you heard Padam?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I heard Padam like way before when it was just a thought, you know."
You're here to tell us, all the poor people who couldn't go to Vegas, you're here to tell us about the atmosphere. I've watched all the YouTube clips. It's not the same thing. Coming up on
No.
this podcast, you'll be able to hear my verdict along with another guest. That's our Nathan. He'll be on with me very soon to talk about our verdict, which, by the way, it's a little bit controversial. And
Uh-oh.
it's particularly controversial, their minor misdemeanor, because we weren't there and we're still giving
Yeah.
it a verdict. But you give us the real verdict. You were there. Tell us about what happened and what it was like to be in her presence.
Absolutely. Just to preface, the getting the tickets was an absolute bloodbath. Like was on for 4.5 hours until one point I just started crying at my laptop because the
Oh,
site just kept crashing, and I was like, "That's
oh,
it. She's gonna be on my soil, and I'm gonna miss her. Like this is like insane." And my husband at the last minute, he was just like, "Oh my god, I got us the gold VIP tickets, like the two seaters, and all the two
what?
seaters are around the stage."
That would have
So,
cost a fortune.
so the way that they break it down is so the part of the package is it's $200 for the tickets itself. And then based on your, like, if you buy a 10-person table versus a two-person table, because I got both. So
Wow.
for the two-person table, there was a $550 spending that you have to do at the table, which they have her wine, prosecco's, caviar, cookies, all kinds of things, and I'll touch base on that in a second when I
I
actually
heard that
got
some of
there.
that was delayed, but anyway, there you
Yes,
go. Mm.
exactly. And then we got also lucky enough that I got the 10-person VIP table for January 19th, and that one is a $3,000 spending that you have to do at the table. So
What?
it's
On
all
top of the
based.
tickets, you have to spend
Yes.
3,000. What's that
Yes.
per head?
So
$300 per head, isn't it?
when I split it up amongst all my friends, because they also give you gratuity included, the sales taxes and all that, like what it will be all at the end of it, it came out to like $700 per person. So to me, I'm like, that's worth it.
Well, yeah, it's worth it. It's beyond the reach of a lot of the people listening, including myself.
Exactly.
But good for you.
But
Good
that's
for you.
how I
You're
feel
just
when it's
making me hate you more, Minor.
no, but it's like that's how I feel when it's all in the UK and I have to spend my flight and my hotel and the currency exchange isn't
Yeah,
that great for me. So,
that's
um,
true. That's
so
true.
yeah, so it's just a little bit hindsight on our end. Like I was able to fly from Denver to Las Vegas for only $60. So I was like, okay, so instead of spending more money out there on silly things, I spent it all on Kylie. So um when we did get there though, there was a little bit of confusion about where the VIP people check in, where the general admission people check in. So people started, I think doors opened at 9 and people actually started up lining up at like 6 or 6:30 for general admission. Like that was a little bit wild to me because you don't really see that in Las Vegas shows, and I didn't
Wow.
know what the place would look like on the inside yet. And so I was like, okay, like the VIP person told us to come back at 9:30. We were with a couple of friends and they wanted to upgrade their tickets from general admission to a table, which anybody listening to this, I would absolutely recommend doing that because they actually saved money by doing that. They only paid what they were supposed to spend at the table. So instead of like anything extra, like fee processings and things like that. So,
Mm.
so they were able to upgrade their tickets, and then we eventually. We went to go have dinner and then we came back at 9 and I saw a huge line that was just wrapped around everywhere. So I was like, you know what, let's just get in line. The line
Oh,
took
hang on a second. You didn't, as a VIP, you didn't have to stand with the great unwashed, did you? That's
no.
terrible.
So well, here's the catch 22 is general admission got in before VIP did.
Oh, this is
Which
outrageous.
yeah, it was wild to me because for a minute I was like, how's that happening? Why is our line so long? Which it was crazy. If you're there, look at the general admission like check-in line because that's where all the celebrities were going through as well. So we got to see like Billy Eichner and Jesse Ferguson and Lisa Vanderpump going through that way. But we just like stood there for almost an hour, I want to say. It was kind of bonkers.
Wow.
By the time we got to the front to be checked in, it made a little bit more sense. I think because it was the first night, they were a little bit more disorganized because they had like two people checking in all of these hundreds of VIP tables and then taking your credit card information at that time and then taking one group one by one by one. So it really slowed down the process.
Wow.
But overall, I was still really excited. And when you come in, the merch table is to your left, and the merch table I was a little bit disappointed in, if I'm being honest, because I feel like Kylie Minogue has. At least her at her concerts, like the arena tours and stuff, she usually has really great merch. As opposed to this one, I felt a little bit let down, especially for the prices. Like the bomber jacket was it just says like Kylie Minogue on the back in Vegas and stitching, and that was almost $200.
Wow.
So yeah,
Jesus.
so that kind of was a bummer. The t-shirts were up close to 100. And they also said a lot of the merch didn't get there in time, so I missed out on any of the extra merch. But I did get what they didn't promote was a lithograph that is actually relatively big. I would say it's about the size of my torso. And it's an artwork of Kylie Minogue as a showgirl. And on the bottom, it has her autographed and then numbered because they only made 500 copies.
Ooh. Now that's
So
special. How much was that?
125, cheaper than the damn bomber jacket.
Oh,
So
as if you would. So hang on a sec. You've got a choice between a $100 Kmart bomber jacket with Kylie's plastered on the back. Well, for
yep,
125, you get her autograph.
yep,
Oh,
exactly. And that's what
as
I
if.
went for.
Easy choice, right? Easy choice.
And then on the cheaper ends of things, I don't remember how much because I got this deck of playing cards from her, and I think it was like 25 bucks. I was like, yeah, throw it in. But each of the cards are the different Kylie Minogues from the Tension music video. So I thought that was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Um, Yeah, so that was all really fun. They had some hats, which again were a little bit lackluster. I'm just used to like usually Kylie Minogue's face plastered on everything, or naked men half shirts off, on stuff. And this was just very like simple things. So I was a little bit disappointed with that.
Minor,
Right.
I've already concluded that you are absolutely a certified Kylie fan.
Oh,
I know you told me, but I had to prove it to myself. The fact that we're still at the merchandise table, this is amazing. I'm loving it,
oh
by
my
the way.
gosh, I'm so sorry if I ramble. Please
I
let me
am
know.
loving every second. I am so with you in the foyer. I'm looking to my right, and there's the merch.
Yes. And yeah, and it was just great just being surrounded by Kylie lovers in general was really
They're a
awesome.
nice
So
lot, aren't they, Kylie fans?
yes, oh my god, they're so sweet. Like
Mm.
it was just like for once I didn't feel crazy in America, like gushing over her or people making. They usually make fun of me because I'll be like, "Oh, Kylie Minogue, this," and they'll be like, "Oh, ha ha ha, Kylie Jenner," and I'm like, "No, mother already took her to court twice in one point. Like, we're we're good with that. You can miss me with that Kylie joke." So, so yeah. So after the merch table, I finally went in, and I don't know what I was expecting from the photos because it's like being in person and seeing the photos are two completely different things. So I saw all of the leaked photos, and when I went in, it like our whole group kind of it took our breath away. Like the ceiling was way higher than we thought it was going to be. The walls were like textured crystal rocks looking with these intense lights everywhere. There was a DJ in the right, well, stage left. There's a DJ, and we kept calling her Miley Cyrus or Hannah Montana all night because she looked just like her. And she played phenomenal music. The DJ tried to get everybody like going and talk on the microphone, like how many lovers do we have here, and all of this fun stuff. And they also played some remixes of songs that were not in the show, so that was really cool. You get to sit down at your table, and like I said, once I got in there, it made a whole bunch of sense. So she has um, a whole bunch of disco balls in the ceiling. And I was like, well, that's a cool feature. And then when the show started, I didn't realize the disco balls move up and down and like they spin and everything, and they put lights on them. So that was really interesting to see. And then in the back, like completely in the back of the venue, is the bar. And at the bar, they have all of her wines lined up. They make specialty cocktail drinks. There was one drink called the Vegas High on there, which obviously I had to get because it had
Yay!
Kylie Minogue
What's in a
Prosecco.
Vegas high? What's in a
Um,
Vegas high?
it was the Prosecco mixed with some juices. I took a picture. I'll send it to you after.
I love it.
there
I
was
love it.
all I know is I got
Did it taste
tipsy
good?
off of it. Oh, it was delicious. It definitely
Cool.
tasted fruity because I like things that aren't strong alcohol tasting. I like it to kind of sneak up and punch you in the face out of nowhere. So that was definitely that kind of drink. Uh, so I absolutely recommend the Vegas High. And but here now I finally understood what general admission was, and I'm happy for those people that did line up early. The general admission is placed at the back of the venue next to the bar. So there's no seating. You're kind of crowded around a railing. And so it is recommended then, if you want to get a good standing part for general admission, to go early, or else you'll kind of get pushed to the back. But because the bar is back there, the moving like always tends to happen. Like someone, if someone tries to go to the bathroom or to
Yes.
the bar, then they lose their spot and you kind of get to like wiggle up forward. Does that make sense? And it's like and it's the entire back bar, and then you drop down one level, and that's the stage level, and that's where all of the VIP booths and tables and chairs are. And I thought those were all beautiful. All of the big
Tell us
booths.
about the booth. I was imagining velvet lounge, like semicircles. Is that sort of right or not?
Yes, absolutely. Velvet, from what I can remember, it was like a darker pink velvet. It could have been the lighting like messing with me. And like little tables like low to meet the booth. Our specific table for the two people was like a little cocktail standing not a cocktail not a standing table, but like a cocktail small circle table with two chairs. I do wish that they had bigger tables for it, because me and my husband had to spend $550 on alcohol, so that's quite a lot we had to get. So like a bottle of Belvedere, the full bottle was like 500. Like you can get for $25 all like Coke product mixers with it, which with Red Bulls, which I was a little bit irked at, because when we got there, they told us Red Bull was sold out, Coke was sold out. So I was just like, well, then what is here, you know? But the waiter was trying to, accommodate as best as he could. I couldn't be upset with him. So we just got a whole bunch of juices instead of the other things.
And were
And
you
then,
waiting a long time? I've heard that it was quite disorganized for night one, and so therefore
yes.
people were waiting a long time, up to 45 minutes for a drink to come to the table.
Yeah, so I would say the drink, my Kylie Vegas High, took a while but ordering the bottle service portion of it did come maybe within 10 to 15 minutes. And at least our waiter was upfront by saying, like, the bar is backed up, we're running out of things, like, it's just a little bit more than what we anticipated. So I feel like there's going to be just a learning curve for them and maybe an inventory issue. So hopefully moving forward, they plan better for that portion.
And
And
this room, to go back to the room that you're in,
yeah.
because that's what all the fans were excited about when we saw the artwork of what this room would look like. Is it called
Mhm.
the Voltaire? Is the name of the room, or the hotel?
The Venetian is the hotel, and Voltaire is the
Yes,
the name of the club.
the
So,
club.
from
Right.
my understanding, is they basically built this for Kylie. She's the leading lady, and then other people, when she's not performing, will be performing in there. But that they're also going to treat it like a nightclub whenever there is nobody performing in there in general.
Yes, exactly. And was it impressive? You talked about the ceiling being high, but like, is it when you walk in, do you think, yep, this is what I paid for? This is the decadence that I was expecting.
Yeah, so the deco and the art of everything of the whole room, that made me feel like, okay, this was worth it, because the light show in it is just absolutely top notch, phenomenal. I knew Kylie would do something with lighting, because even when I saw her for, was it 2008 for the X tour? Like she was kind of the first person starting all of those projections on the floor and everything. Like I
Yeah.
always feel Kylie is very one step ahead of the game when it comes to production stuff. So seeing the lights like constantly change in there, like the room almost felt alive, and it felt grand and luxurious and expensive. And I personally just really enjoyed it. Like even my husband, who is a Kylie fan but not nearly anywhere to my level, and he's like, this is really fancy, like this is really cool. And then when we got to the stage area, because we, like, if she would spit on me, I would catch it. Like that's how close we were to her. But I was surprised how smaller the stage was, if that makes sense, because I'm used to seeing her on like a giant, massive stage. So I was like, okay, let's see how she works with this. And they do a pre-show. The pre-show is like a burlesque dance style type of performance, and
Ugh, yuck.
that I thought it was entertaining in the sense of it helped kind of distract from things kind of running behind and the chaos. Um, I also enjoyed some of the numbers were really good, but you can tell that some of the fans, I don't know if they weren't drunk enough yet or if people weren't into it, but like you can tell like it was a little bit like off. Like I'd
Yeah, but
almost felt,
Minor, can I tell you something? This is my theory on this. Again, I didn't go. So what
yeah.
right have I got? Well, I've got the right of being a fan since 1986. So I'm going to say it. I dare say most people in that room were like, we're here for Kylie, not for this
Yes.
struggling act or whatever the hell you were watching.
And I was surprised by it, because it's like we had to ask the person who was organizing everything if there's a pre-show or something. So I wish they would have also, I agree, I wish they would have advertised it well. So like although it was a nice surprise. It kind of also took me off guard because it's like I'm sitting here trying to order, get myself settled, stop crying, that I'm realizing I'm seeing Kylie Minogue, and then there's like a performance happening right in my face. So it was just like a lot to take in all at once. And then by the time I finally settled in, like the show kind of was finished. And I was like, oh, okay. So I hope the whole beginning gets a lot more ironed out, smoothed out, because that definitely ruined a lot of people's, I don't want to say mood, but just their energy in general. You know, you're just kind of like, okay, this took us a long time. It's now 11 o'clock and she was supposed to be out by 11, and you know, she tried to start as close as possible to that time, but you could tell that they were pushing it back because they were still trying to get people into the venue. So that was a little bit sad, but I know that's not necessarily on her end. That's more of the club itself. I heard rumors that they were worried if the club was even going to be finished on time for opening night, which kind of
Yeah.
made me like really nervous, but they pulled it together. Kylie then, they introduce her saying Kylie's going to start. Kylie does a little announcement on the microphone. Lights come down.
Hang on, sorry, Kylie does an announcement herself?
Yes,
She
so
doesn't
she
say
was.
introducing the one and only. Well,
Yeah, no, Kylie herself was like, thank you so much for being here. This is night one. I hope you guys are excited for all of this. Like, we'll just start momentarily. And then that's when the DJ was like, all right,
I've
who's
never
ready
heard
for
that before.
Kylie? So
I've
I,
never heard of Kylie doing her own pre-announcement like
oh
that.
my
That's
God, it
incredible.
made me feel like this was really special.
Wow.
So I was like, well, that's really cool. And then after the DJ finished, you know, now being like, all right, we're gonna do Kylie, who's ready. She then disappears after that. And then the dramatic lights start, like it was the lights were just incredible. And she the
10,
uh
9, 8.
Yes, and into light years, which, oddly enough, if I'm being honest, I was completely taken back that she did that as her opening number because in America people don't know light years, if you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was nice when it happened. And here's this silhouette of this 5 foot woman in front of us, and I look around and everybody's like singing the song along. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm amongst my people. I'm not the only weirdo singing the lyrics. Um, and then it was just her, just solo on stage for the first part of it. And I thought that was really amazing because it gave you a moment to take in that, like, you're here, we're starting the show. I'm used to Kylie doing a lot of cool props on stage and things like that. So with a smaller theater, this is absolutely probably the most intimate setting I've seen her, besides the one when she did. I wasn't able to see the unreleased tour that she did of all those B-side tracks. So
The anti-tour. Yes, that's
yes,
true.
it gave me those vibes of how intimate it was, but
Mm.
like obviously she had a little bit more stage. So she didn't do a lot of props on stage. It was a lot of visual effects behind her, the lasers. Like, I recommend for anybody who's seeing it and there's heavy light show stuff going on, take a moment and actually like look around the venue because there's so much going on with the lights that I was like, oh my gosh, this is what she meant by this is an immersive experience. Like, the lights are doing different things in the front and in the back and in the side. And then at some points of the show, the dancers came out and they were dancing in certain sections amongst the crowd, which that was like really cool, like full blown choreography. But she did, I was very surprised. She had not her original dancers. I did find out later through a friend that I'm 1 degree separation from her. One of her friends is dancing in the show as Kylie's dancer. So now that's my ultimate goal in life, to find out if she can get me to meet her. Uh,
Very
but
good.
uh, but I know that for a fact that those were Vegas dancers. So that kind of was interesting to me to not see her normal like backup dancers and stuff, which they still did a phenomenal job and everything. But there wasn't that many of them. Choreography wise, they did a good job. And like they filled out the space a lot, but you can tell that the main focus was Kylie Minogue here in this residency. Like, they really didn't pull focus away at her at all. And if anything, they probably enhanced her presence in certain areas instead of trying to do like a crazy amount of choreography.
So when
Um,
she starts, she's up there on the stage doing light years. But I know when she comes down, and you have to tell me about that experience, when she comes down from that point, she is right there in the
yes.
audience, isn't she? I mean, so
Oh,
how did it feel the first moment you realized how close she got to you? And what was that on the second track when she did, I think it was Vegas High, wasn't it? The second track?
no, I got lucky. So since we're in day one, we got the full Supernova performance as the second
Ah,
track.
ah.
Yeah, so people hate me extra. Uh, and that was my first time hearing Supernova live. So, and that's one of my favorite songs from disco. So I like turned into a 12-year-old girl at that point. Um,
Nothing wrong
and
with that.
yeah, and like when she stepped down and she was right there, my thought process was just I can rush the stage and get kicked out, but I can say I met Kylie Minogue and touched her, or I stay here. So of course I picked the lather, but like just seeing her, like I don't know, I'm giving myself goosebumps because I'm hyping myself up all over again because I never thought I'd be able to see her that close. Like the feeling is just
What is she
so
like up
surreal.
that close? I've never seen her up that close. Is she as small as everyone says?
Oh my god, she's so tiny. The tiniest human being ever, like pocket size. And like seeing her that close, I'm like, oh my god, look how fit she is and so sexy, but also like her skin looked flawless. Cause you know, everybody does filters on Instagram and all of this stuff. And what I've always loved about Kylie is pretty much what you see with her is what you get.
Yep.
And there was exactly that. And like you could feel her energy, her kindness. But what's another thing that I've always respected about her is even though she's this pop global icon legend phenomenon, like she is so internally humble on stage. Like every time she talked, like she just kept saying her gratitude for being here. Or well, she made a mention that after the locomotion when she performed, she's like, if you would tell me that I'd be here in Vegas, you know, as a teenager, like I would have laughed in your face. And she's like, you know, we made it. We're all here. We finally did it. And so I think that always just touches me that how grateful she is to still be at the top of her game at, you know, not to be ageism or anything, but at her age, you know, and still tapping into the young market and filling out all of these seats and stuff. Like we were all there together, like proud with her. And she was just still Kylie, like being that up close, like you can tell she had a show to put on as well, but like she made you feel very much like she knows all of you, if that makes sense. So, uh,
It's like an out of body experience. Did you have time to take in the people around you? Was everyone having that moment of, oh my God, Kylie is now like a meter from us?
Um, it took everybody a minute because, like, so the way this stuff is set up, because it's tiered, you know, but like, you know, my husband's 6'3". He didn't want to stand up and block anybody's view, but like, you were told, like, oh, you can dance and stuff. I wanted to get up and dance right away, but nobody else was getting up. It kind of looked like everybody was just like, oh my God, she's actually here. And
Actually, can
then,
I ask you about that? That's a really interesting point. She's not done a show where you can all sit around in booths before. Was there
yeah.
confusion about should we get up and down, or was there any instruction or advice about that?
Yeah, no, that is one thing I wish she would have announced on the microphone because I feel if Mother would have approved it on the microphone, being like, get up, dance with me, it would have been a lot faster. But it took a good song or two to like halfway through when she got onto the runway. That's when people started standing up. And my husband and I just was like, okay, if they're getting up, then screw it. I'm getting up and I'm not sitting back down for the rest of the 70 minutes. So once people like finally like bit the bullet to stand up, everybody like was starting to stand up and like cheering on and having fun. But I think it took her getting onto the runway for people to finally be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna get up because this is hard to sit here after banger, bop after bop, like you know.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
definitely was confusion. But I will tell everybody, nobody gets mad. Just stand up and just go straight for it. She loves the dancing. She loves the interaction. Like you can tell, If anybody wants to follow me on my Instagram, Minor Misdemeanor, there's a lot of embarrassing videos of me. I was screaming, I cried 7 times. At one point,
You
I had
counted how many times?
Yes.
I love that.
At one point, 4 different tables came to me with video footages of me saying, "This is you loving Kylie Minogue." And I try to apologize to the fans, and they're like, "No, we're so happy to see someone enjoy and love her as much as the rest." They're like, "But to see the pure joy coming out of you was just as good as the show." So again, like the fans, we're all there. We all know how crazy this moment is, so it's okay to go wild and go crazy, and she like just soaks all of it in. Like you can just, that devilish little smile smirk she does, and like it's great to feel her loving all of us so
Now,
tremendously.
Minor, tell me this. I know it's a strange, nerdy question, but was the sound level good? Like, was it too loud? Was it loud enough? Was there a good bass? How was
So
the
for
sound?
me, the sound was great. Usually when I'm that up close to a concert, like you can't hear the singing as clear. I heard her
Exactly.
pitch perfect. Like I
Ah,
thought she was great. My husband never really understood why I love Why Your Disco Needs You is in my top 5 favorite Kylie songs, because I love those opera notes that she hits towards the end of it.
oh
And
yeah.
that was the first time he really could clear hear her hitting those notes. And he goes, "Wow, I finally get it." And I'm like, "Yeah, she's like, her vocals are insane." So, music wise, clarity wise, great. I did
And the
have a
voice was
friend.
on point by the sound of it. The voice was
Oh,
on
the
point.
microphone was absolutely on. Like, it was so
Wow.
good. Like, not a voice crack, not a quiver. And then you know that she's not lip syncing because if you're a true Kylie fan, you know the note changes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And she talks in between certain notes and stuff as well. So that was really cool. But I did have other friends that said they got a headache from it. And I'm just like, well, like for me, like I was going and expecting a concert, so I don't know if that just did better for me or if I went numb from seeing her, but I know that I had some friends who said that the music felt like it was a little bit too loud because they got a headache from it. I'm like the louder the better. I want to be immersed.
Were they in their late 70s by any chance?
No, no, but I just like I don't know. I was surprised. I'm like, you're going to a concert. Of course, it's gonna like make your ears bleed. Like,
Now, Minor, I'm curious for you to point out some of the highlights. The part that for me, when I watched it come through, that she was, because I was reading it in text, not watching it, but I saw that she was on stage singing "I Can't Help Falling in Love with You." Was that
oh,
right?
you just gave me
The Elvis
goosebumps
track.
again.
Yeah. So was that pretty special?
Yes, that was one of the moments I cried with my husband because
Mm.
Elvis is a big deal in our family here. So the fact that she announced it, that she's going to perform it, because she said she's like, "I feel the greats of Vegas in here with us tonight." And she's like, and I felt compelled to, pay respects to Vegas greats. And that's when she did it. And, I honestly never imagined Kylie Minogue doing a Elvis song, and the way she just did it was so just tasteful and nailed it. And we got to be the first people ever to hear her do it. Like it was so special, and it's just a spotlight and her at the end of the stage, and
And
it's
wasn't
like
she wearing the Elvis cloak too? Wasn't she? I think.
yes, the black sparkly Elvis cloak. And that's what, like, I think moments like that is what makes the residency worth it, because you're like, wow, it's just the spotlight and Kylie Minogue and the fans. Like, that's what, and you're so close, like, everybody's together. Because when she does go towards the end of the stage, where there's a little circle at the end of the runway, it that's where the general admission people have a better view, because I got to look towards her back on that point. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I feel she really tried to work the entire audience during spinning around. She just would go around dancing on people's tables in the back and stuff.
Wow.
Like I was like, Kylie, you're on a table without security. Like, how are people not like rushing you? Like, but all the fans were so respectful. Like, nobody was like reaching to touch her or anything. And I'm like, she just kicked over your like drink. Are you okay with that? Of course you're okay with it. It's Kylie. Like,
That
but
was my Vegas high.
yeah, exactly. I was jealous of those people that got like, she danced on their table and stuff. And she really, that whole number, she moved throughout the entire crowd. So that's like really special as well. So things she wouldn't be able to do at an arena tour, she got to do it at the Vegas residency for sure.
Now, you've painted this beautiful picture, and the review that we've got coming up after the conversation with you is a little bit harsh, all right? It's a little bit harsh, all right? Just forewarning everybody.
Uh-huh.
But I'm absolutely loving the picture you're painting. I'm wishing I was there. Tell me a few things. Was it surprising that she didn't have more of her early back catalogue in this? Was there a song you were waiting to hear that you were so surprised just didn't happen?
On a night like this. I'm like, you have performed that song ever since it's been released. Like,
Yes.
how did you take that out of your catalog? But I had to remind myself that like she only has a certain amount of time, right? And so in that 75 minutes, she does 3 acts, 5 costume changes. Like that's already so many songs, and almost all of the no, she did all full songs. So like I was impressed with how many she did. As a fan, I'm always going to be upset that there isn't more or that she missed some songs.
Better the devil you know.
Yes, but then again, you have to remember here in the States, I think that's what she's trying to play to more
Yeah.
towards of like people know, get out of my way because Aphrodite was, somewhat of a success out here on the state side. What else did she do? Spinning Around is obviously that's her like trademark for sure. I feel like she did Light Years and On because she felt that most people would know her from that, even if you were a newer Kylie fan. Because if you're a newer Kylie fan, you're not going to the 80s. You're not listening to Turn It Into Love and all of those good songs.
Yeah. Well, I get
So
it.
I
She's
think
catering for a very particular audience there, that's for sure.
yes,
Mm.
yes, and so that's what I think is it's probably a mixture of her and her team being like, all right, we know the fans love this, but also from a business point of view, we should probably include these. Like on our night, I don't know about the night after us, but on our night, she was taking requests. She's like, "Oh, what's something we should do?" Blah blah blah, and then she did the one a cappella for us.
Oh, and that's a
So
lovely version, isn't it?
oh, the best. so so that was really fun to hear her do that. So I hope she can continue doing that where she can fill in more of the back catalog.
The most important question, did she seem happy? Was she happy and relaxed?
So that's the one thing. I know she was happy. I don't want to say that she was relaxed because being an entertainer myself, I know we can mask it and people won't figure it out. So I feel like to the naked eye, she felt normal and casual and relaxed. But to me, especially like looking back at the videos and stuff, like you can tell she had moments of playfulness, but there were other moments that I would catch her like she's doing choreography and then she'd look back really quick at the dancers and then be like, okay, this is the next move, and like then go into her next stuff. So I definitely think she had like first night jitters. Especially like, think about I kept screaming to her from the thing. I was like, America loves you, and she laughed on one of the times she was walking back. I was like, good, you heard me, we're here. So I, just trying to put myself in her place. I'm sure she
Mm.
had, are people gonna like me, or is anyone gonna show up, like will people know my songs? Like I kind of got more of that vibes of like, okay, now I need to get off the stage and go get changed really quick. Like,
Show number one, always hard, isn't it? Always hard.
yes, absolutely. And like she did a great job hosting, she did a great job singing and stuff, but I could tell she was like, song done, I need to get off and go to the, like, you know what I mean? So So definitely I think as she does it more, we'll get more of that, like, oh, I'm relaxed Kylie, let me have a glass of champagne on stage.
I'm hoping you can give us an exclusive here. I've
Yeah.
watched so many different angles of the Vegas shows. There seems to be a chemistry between Kylie and one of the dancers in particular.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't unsee it now that I've decided, and that's typical me. I've decided it's true, so now I've got confirmation bias, and I just see it in every clip. But she particularly there's this male dancer with dark skin, and he just seems extra protective of her. And when she looks, you mentioned just there that she looks to her dancers, what's the next move and all that. Well, she looks to him a lot. So,
Yeah.
can you confirm that Kylie's in a torrid love affair with one of her dancers?
I wouldn't call it a love affair. So my muggle, I wear a lot of different hats. I'm also a professional dancer and choreographer as well. So from my insight point of it, if you look at her, he's the one that brings her the cloak. He's the one that's standing by her when she's dancing on the tables. He's guiding her
He's
throughout
the
the whole
protector.
show.
Yeah,
He's the what?
he's the protector.
Exactly. He's like the protector. And in each dance show you do, there's something called a dance captain. So the dance captain is in charge of, like, if the choreographer isn't there, then that person would have to run rehearsals or make sure everyone is clean. So my feeling is maybe he's the dance captain, so he's in
Mm.
charge of her props, like the cloak, like he's solely in charge of that. He's in charge of making sure she gets from A to Z properly, because he's a big guy too, so no one's gonna mess with him. So I
You're
feel
trying to say this is all strictly appropriate and professional, and I don't like it.
no, no, but seriously, like, maybe not necessarily a romance just yet, but
Thank you for
but I
adding that in.
yeah, but I feel like he's the security blanket for her right now. And, security blankets can evolve into other things. So I never like to say never. It's never too late.
Yes, that's a shame that wasn't there, isn't it? Tell me
I
this, Minor.
know.
Did she leave you wanting more? 75 minutes. So she must have left you wanting more, surely.
I was upset that it was done. Because like you said, there was still a chunk of catalog that I really missed. I definitely wanted more. I was on such a high, especially with all of our friends. So I did like that once the show finished, they just kept playing music and you were dancing. And that's when the Minogers really got to walk around and talk with each other. The dancers come out after the show and take pictures with everybody and talk. So I thought
Ah,
that was a really cool thing.
I bet the
Uh,
man I just mentioned didn't come out, and the rest of them did, and he was
I didn't see him.
suspiciously absent, as they say.
I did not see him, but they could have been on the other side of the bar. So can't confirm, but no, I'll definitely try to figure out if there's something there, because now I'm if super interested if there is anything there.
So you're going back in January. I bet you can't wait. Like, give us a final wrap up of all of this. So what are you hoping? Like, is it one of those things where when you go back in January, you're going to try and take it in a different way, or
Yes.
yeah,
Like, so when I go back in January, the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is I realized that I was so focused on her and only her. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. Like, when I was watching all the lovers on my phone, and I did this part where I, like, spin around to try to, like, look at the rest of the crowd singing along. And I noticed that the lights were doing something completely back there different and different projections. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, there really is something going on. So I'll definitely be viewing more of the show as a whole versus just like, oh my God, she's right here. I'm also hoping that she might add some more things to
yeah.
it. Definitely, like I said, there was a lot of moments where I just, like, it was weird not seeing her with like props or the opulence of it all. I hate to say it like this way because I feel like it's a negative notation, but I don't view it negative that way. It was a watered down version of what her concert tours are like. Does that, a
Oh,
little bit
yeah,
of make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
So if you are a huge fan and you've seen her in the big stadium tours, I've seen the X, the Aphrodites, all of those fun tours, you're going to see this. It's kind of like, just know what you're getting yourself into. When you go see Britney Spears in Vegas, you know you're not going for the live vocals. You're going for the entertainment factor. So with this, I would say go into it open-minded, but don't expect an X tour or something like that because she can only do so much on that stage. So it's more about the flashiness of the lights and the projections and then her voice, but also being that immersed and very close to her is an experience of its own.
Minor, I can't tell you. This has been such an awesome description. I didn't expect to get this much detail.
I'm so sorry. I was like, I love her so much. So I'm like, I just
You
want
must not
everybody to have
apologize. You're talking to probably the only person. In fact, your boyfriend owes me one because you've just got it out of your system, right?
Yes, exactly. Because I was like, I need to shut up now. I just keep like when I came home, I played her entire discography from start to finish again, and he was just like, "All right, I know you had a great time." I'm like, "No, you can't do this to me. I'm gonna be riding this high until January again."
It will never end. It will never end.
Never.
I'm so excited you're going back again. So hopefully come back and tell us. Will you come back and tell us what it was like in January?
Absolutely. The date I'm going on is January 19th. So if anybody else is going on that day, hit me up. I'm in all of the Kylie Minogue fan groups because I love meeting people and gushing over her as well. So,
And most
but yeah.
importantly, where can people find you, Minor, if they want to look you up on socials?
Yeah, so my social media, very easy. I make it easy so drunk people can find me, but Minor Misdemeanor, one word. And that's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Actually, on Twitter, it's just Ms. Minor with a Z. But other than that, Instagram is where I'm most active. You can find my embarrassing videos of me crying, singing along. So feel free. And if anybody else has questions, feel free to reach out because I love it. I'm here to bond with everyone.
Well, I think you are absolutely awesome. You've been fantastic to talk to, and I am so glad you had a great time at a Kylie show. That makes my heart warm and fuzzy.
Yes, thank you so much for having me and letting me gush and and letting me be a part of your show. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Just don't listen to the next part.
No worries.
Whenever I listen to Tim and his panel of guests, my toes begin to curl, and I feel just the right amount of tingling all over my aching body. Now, let's get back to the show. Whenever I listen to Tim and his panel of guests, my toes begin to curl, and I feel just the right amount of tingling all over my aching body. Now, let's get back to the show. Ooh!
Kylie's Vegas show, more than just a residency. When I first heard that Kylie was doing a residency at the Venetian Resort, Las Vegas, I was so happy for her. I was looking up the days she was doing her shows. I noticed that she was doing Fridays and Saturdays. When the tickets crashed on the site, the fans got annoyed, and Kylie apologised and added more dates. When she mentioned this in an interview, she said that the room was for 1,000 people, which meant that it was a small venue. I love her costumes that she's wearing, and my favourite one is the red one and the black one.
And a huge shout out to you, Katie. It's always great to hear from you, and I know that you're doing the same as the rest of us Kylie fans, aren't you? You're on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and you're just rifling through those clips of the Vegas show, wishing you could be there, probably playing drums in your case, because I know you're a drum player. Thanks, Katie, for that. Much appreciated. Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Long time no speak. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you. How about you?
Oh, you're going to have to forgive me, actually. I'm really not well, but that's okay. We had
no. Is this why you're going to put a boo sound on?
Yes, something like that. But I don't need sound effects, actually, because my voice and the cough that you're probably going to get will do it justice. I was stuck in bed. I don't know if you've ever had one of these nights where you're just having a fever and it's an awful night in bed and you're not sleeping. And I was waiting till 6 a.m. to ring telehealth, right?
Right.
And for the first time that I can remember in our country, we had a nationwide outage today of a mobile phone carrier, one of the biggest companies. So I was just sitting there trying desperately to press for numbers. I never use a phone either. I did everything on the net. But this time I needed to ring the surgery, and I just couldn't work out why my phone wasn't dialing it, and it was awful. I felt like I was dying and I couldn't get help. So that's my tale of the day.
That's amazing, though. I've never even heard of like a phone provider going fully down like that.
No, so it hasn't happened over there before? Well,
it might have done. Maybe when I was like, I don't know, 3. I have no idea.
No, well, it's made national headlines because the company, it's called Optus. Do you have Optus over there in Europe?
No, we don't.
No, so Optus is our second biggest telecommunications provider over here, and yeah, just completely out. It's back up now, thank God. But of course, the one little pinprick in history where I needed to use
you need it.
So selfish of me, because people had much bigger problem. Businesses couldn't even take FPOS today.
No, they did not, Tim. Don't you just revel in the drama of it. Nobody had a bigger issue than you did that one.
Thank you, Nathan, for telling me that. I probably needed to hear that, because I was listening up to the news not long before I come on here, and it was like, yeah, businesses couldn't, had to close their doors, and people were walking out because they could only use cash. There was no FPOS. Anyway,
that's
now
nothing on you with the sniffles. Don't let the news tell you differently.
Now listen, as soon as I crawled into the Tesla and got to a doctor's surgery, sweaty and conjunctivitis, and with my curly hair like a big blonde afro, scared the woman behind the counter. And as soon as I got the antibiotic into me, the first one, instantly, like it was like a miracle. Thank you, Louis Pasteur. All right, so listen, I'm so excited to talk to you because we're going to talk about what we think about Kylie's Vegas residency. We deliberately haven't compared notes, so we don't know what each other's going to say.
It's going to be very interesting.
I'm more interested at the moment, though, to start off with what your plans are for when you see, excuse me, Kylie an audience with in London, which is coming up soon. I am enthralled by the planning that's going into this from your point of view. Can you tell everyone who's listening, what are you actually planning here? It's
I think
phenomenal.
I planned more for an audience with than Kylie has.
I think, well, you certainly don't have a team of people and you're doing something remarkable.
Well, exactly. I've done it all on my own.
Yeah.
But no, so just for context, because I know that the last time I spoke about an audience with, I wasn't going.
Yes.
But I am incredibly lucky to have a wonderful, wonderful friend who I've been friends with for many years, who isn't even that big of a Kylie fan. Like, he is a Kylie fan, but not to the level that we are, for example. And I'd said to him that if we could get tickets, we'd go. And in the morning, when I saw how much they were selling for on reselling sites and things like that, I said, right, I'm putting my foot down, we're not going. I'm not paying double the price, not happening. And then about 12 hours later, I get a screenshot from him that he's fucking ordered us tickets. And he was like, oh, consider it a Christmas present. So I'm very lucky.
What a lovely friend.
Lucky. Yeah, no, very lucky. But the reason why I wasn't going to pay the extortionate prices that people were charging is because I was planning on going to an audience with as Kylie, like fully, to the point where...
do we still call it in drag, or is that inappropriate?
Yeah, it is drag. Yeah, it's certainly drag. But I was essentially going as a dragified version of Kylie, in her current era of the Padam era almost, because it's been such a whirlwind of a ride for us all as fans. And I previously was a drag queen. I used to work pretty much every night. I used to do shows. I used to do all the hosting and all that.
What, in clubs and pubs or something, or?
Yeah, no, I did. Well, I did one called Cirque du So Gay, which was
Cirque So Gay.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
That's a great name.
It was actually really successful. We were blowing up until COVID hit. Just the week before COVID hit, I had a little diva fit and quit because they didn't get my mic settings right. So
They didn't get your what settings right?
they didn't get my mic settings right.
Your mic
because I
settings.
sing. So
They made you sound like Danny rather than Kylie, did they?
No, worse. Honestly, I could never hear myself. I could never hear myself. And what happened was I sang Roxy from Chicago, and I'm really good at that song, by the way. But yeah, so I sang Roxy, and I couldn't hear myself for the first 2.5 minutes of this song. And then by the final bit, you know, the Roxy Hearts, that bit, like,
Yep.
by that final moment, I fucking heard myself because he changed my microphone settings to the settings that I told him to change them to about fucking 6 months before. So I just said to him, right, you know what? I could finally fucking hear myself, but I don't want to be in your show anymore. So I just left. Yeah, anyway.
God, what a diva.
So I was planning on going as Kylie. So I was going to get the Padam Padam outfit made.
No, hang on. Nathan, slow down. I just want to go back to, you know, because we're segueing all over the place here. So we'll go back to your days.
Sorry, I'm going everywhere, I know.
No, I love it. I think it's great. But Circus O'Gay, I just want to make it clear, because I know you're much more a Kylie fan than a Madonna fan, but you would know about the famous moment out of the Truth or Dare in Bed with Madonna documentary about sound, or do you not?
No.
Oh, you must look it up, because it's basically the story you just told. Madonna stands on stage very calmly, and don't forget, she's early 30s and powerful woman. And she goes, I want someone up here right now. Right. And then she looks around, she's putting her finger in her ear, playing with the sound in her ear, and she goes, I mean now. And then when and the dancers have got their hands over their mouths, oh, Madonna's angry, oh my God, how scandalous. And she goes, If somebody who knows about sound does not come up here on the stage, I am not doing a show. So you had a Madonna diva moment over audio.
I did. No, I really did. Like,
I love it. There's nothing better than a good walkout on a job anyway. I love stories
well, you've
like
got
that.
to sometimes, though, because like it was just pissing me off. Like,
were you wearing heels when you walked out?
No. What? No.
Oh,
to be
that's
fair,
a shame. That would have been much more
I did
dramatic.
my final songs, and then I stormed out. But I will have been in my heels. Yeah.
I love it.
It wasn't.
Such a great
I didn't
image.
stop mid-performance like Madge did, but I was close.
Oh no! Madonna was, when she did that story I just told you, was in rehearsals. It wasn't.
Right.
No. Okay, well, very great visual. I love it. So, just to cut to this one though, I know that I've been telling you in text, and you've not appreciated it at all. I'm like, because you've been telling me that this is an expensive venture, what you're planning for an audience with. And I've been saying, hey, red crepe paper and some elastic bands, $4.50 down at the op shop. Come on, man. But you're telling me that it's a lot more elaborate than that.
Oh, yeah, it's very... I mean, my seamstress has been drawing up...
Sorry,
yeah, no, genuinely.
I've said it to you before, but as soon as somebody says, I have a seamstress, I just think of the Titanic. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, don't get me wrong. She's a very good friend as well, but...
she's your seamstress?
Yeah, my seamstress is also
I know you're from London, but that's so old school. Like, honestly, what century are we in?
I'm from Manchester.
Well, England then. You're English, and, you know, it just sounds like something out of a Tudor dynasty, a seamstress. I didn't know they even existed.
Well, I love... I could call her my costume designer, but I much prefer saying seamstress because I think it's just more exotic.
Was William Baker a seamstress, technically, by your definition?
Sorry?
Was William Baker a seamstress?
You know, it's quite funny because I'm going to talk about William Baker soon, actually. But I'm
interrupting your story. I'm sure people aren't following this. Basically, just so I can recap, Nathan is planning something great for his audience with, and it starts with a costume, and it gets better. Trust me. So stick in there. Tell us about this costume. You've sent me what are they called? Mock-ups? Is that what they're called?
Yeah. Oh, did I send you the drawings? Yeah. So
so
basically.
Cool.
I was gonna get the outfit that she actually wore in the Padam Padam video made, the cat suit with the 2 capes. But in terms of timing, it was a little bit tight. So I'm gonna go with what she wore, like an exact recreation of what she wore for her first full performance of Padam Padam at the
American Music
Summertime
Awards.
Ball. No, that wasn't a full performance, was it?
No, first full. You got me on a technicality. Perfect. Yep. So when she walks down that giant catwalk, that's the costume
absolutely.
you're recreating.
and all in the chiffon with like a little leotard underneath, and it's semi see-through and stuff like that.
I don't
and the
understand
thigh
any of
boots
that,
and
but
the
it's going to
glove.
look like that performance.
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
amazing. Big boots then, right?
Yeah, thread for thread, it's going to be pretty much identical,
Right.
and it's going to it's taken a long time.
Is this expensive?
Very. If it would have been worse if I'd have gone with the Padam Padam catsuit though.
Oh, that's
Because
why you went for this. Okay.
yeah, that would have taken hours upon hours upon hours to make, because obviously it needs to be stitch perfect. There can't be anything out of place in something like that. We're doing like the design period of it now, where she's kind of sketching it out, and I'm kind of saying, "Oh no, don't do that. Don't just change that a little bit, just a tiny bit, and little stuff like that." And then I need to be doing measurements. I'm just going to do my own measurements and stuff like that, because I'm more than capable of doing it.
How can you
and
do
send
your
them
own
off.
measurements? How can you measure around your chest? I suppose it's possible. You need very flexible arms.
Well, I mean, to be completely honest with you, Tim, my tits are in my wardrobe, so I can measure them without them being on me.
Oh my god, it's too late for this. Okay, cool. All right. So when you get all of this right, and you try it on, it's perfect the way that you imagined it. Tell everyone what do you when you get to the Albert Hall. You've got a little plan in your head.
Oh yeah.
Are you allowed to share that?
Well, I don't see why not. I don't think it's going to... I mean, maybe somebody will listen and will know that what I'm doing when they're there. You never know, do you? So what I'm planning on doing is, when I'm in my outfit, I'm gonna go a little bit early, and I'd like to do like a little video, with some fans, just like, because I sing. So I was going to sing Padam and essentially ask if the fans would like to do the Padams with me.
Outside
just
the
like
Albert Hall.
Yeah, you know how Kylie does like her little videos where she's warming up with her band.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that'd be really cute, because then we could post a video like, oh, warming up for Kylie.
It's so cool. It really is. So and I know I'm getting hung up on the detail here, but outside the Albert Hall or in the foyer or what?
Well, it depends really. I have no idea. Probably outside, but we'll just have to wait and see.
And you're hoping people will sing along Padam Padam with you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
I
what
guarantee you there are people listening who are now going to be looking for you at the Albert Hall, and they're not going to have to look too hard, because you're probably going to be the best dressed out there.
Well, I'm going to be 6'2", so yeah, like it's not
Ooh.
going to be too difficult.
Hey, what do you do with the hair? How do you get the Kylie hair?
Well, I'm not doing the hair of this era, if you know what I mean. Just because I want to be myself as Kylie still, to an extent. And in drag, I don't really do short hair. So I'm more doing like Kylie's hair of the Aphrodite era. You know, like those lovely sweeping curtains and all the big curls going down her back.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm going for with it.
This is it's so exciting. It makes me excited for the whole event.
Well, I've actually got something to tell you about that, though, because I've seen a couple of screenshots floating around of the Royal Albert Hall and ITV want us to email our unique experiences with Kylie and stuff like that.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, B2?
Well, I am thinking what you're thinking. And this is the thing, Tim, because, I mean, what's better than to email them and be like, well, I'm already coming as Kylie?
Yeah, I'm starting to put it all together. You think that Kylie might actually bring you up on stage or acknowledge you somehow, right?
Well, there's a chance, judging by the fact that ITV are putting out this email address and things like that, because they clearly want to do something with the fans at an audience with. I don't know what it is they want to do.
Well, look, there's another podcast about Kylie and Danny that just use this word incessantly. I'm going to use it for the first time on this show. Let's manifest it. Let's manifest it. Let's manifest it. Come on, let's hope Kylie does see you. And I think you deserve it. You're going to so much effort. And she does love when the fans get dressed up. She absolutely loves it.
Absolutely, yes, she does.
The thing is, from my perspective,
the thing from my perspective, Tim, is that, like, I feel like what Kylie has done with the Tension era, and Padam Padam obviously in particular, much more so than anything else, she's taken her out and she's pushed it out there into such a fantastic place that, like, so many people are seeing it. And, you know, people might not even know that Padam Padam is by Kylie, but they are hearing it. And I find that incredible because in the UK, it is very much like that. You know, you can sing Padam Padam to somebody and they won't necessarily know it was by Kylie, but they'll have heard it. And I find that incredible. And it's like, as somebody who does their own kind of art in their own way, I kind of just want to express the joy that that's brought me, if you know what I mean, because she has brought, like, I don't know about you, but I'm sure you've argued with people over the years about Kylie making this huge resurgence and doing what she's doing right now, and how possible and how likely it is that she'd do it.
Yeah, look, I just think it's a beautiful thing that you're doing because she means so much to you. And excuse me, I'm losing my voice again, but she means so much to you. And I just love the fact that you're showing such love to her and that she will see it, because I know you do
full
it
tribute, 100%.
as much for her as for yourself. I know that for a fact. You just adore her.
That's very much what I want. I want her to see that, like, but one thing that I really want her to see, just to clarify, just before we go on to Vegas, because I actually want her to see me doing not Can't Get You On My Head, not spinning around, not like all of these older iconic outfits that she's done. I want them to see. I want her to see that people are in love with what she's doing now.
Yeah.
100. That's the big thing for me.
And I think she's feeling it. I mean, you add to it, please, but I think she's
Absolutely.
feeling it big time. It's a fairly good segue into what we're talking about, which is Kylie in Vegas, because, yeah, I am really interested to compare notes on this.
Absolutely.
I've been nothing but excited from the moment I heard about this. I'll share my thoughts first, all right? So, and
go for it.
that goes back a long way to the point where I was almost going to go over there. It was purely the climate that made me not want to go. So hopefully I can still get there in May. I was not going to go over there and lose my Australian summer, which I love. Here's the thing, though. Now that it's become real, and I know I'm only watching the clips, and the reviews have been absolutely off the charts, overwhelmingly good. In fact, I've got here some to read so that we balance this conversation out. But I don't think I've ever been as conflicted ever as a Kylie fan in all of my life. Because the moment I watched her come out, this is going to sound so much more about me than about Kylie, but to see the fans so close to her, almost pouring at her as she was, I didn't like it. It's like, don't get up in her face. And I know that's the point of the experience, meant to be intimate, meant to be close to the fans, but and everyone was respectful. I've not seen any disrespect, but there was something maybe cheap, or it just didn't feel worthy of her status or something.
Really?
And I've also,
okay.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I just didn't. Maybe I'm protective of her. I have no idea. I haven't had time to think about why. But when I was watching those clips and you're very close, and I see her, you know, they're filming her right at her back. You can see her shoulder blades and everything. I don't like it. It's undignified. And come on, give us some space, people. So that's how I'm feeling about it. And I've got a bit of a problem with the set list. But what are you making
out of
Kylie
interest,
in Vegas?
though?
Yeah.
Out of interest, what do you think of the show outside of the audience then?
So it looks, her voice is amazing.
Agreed.
The staging looks fantastic. I'm not a fan of the set list, but I'm not meant to be, because she's catering for, I know international people are traveling to America, but she is really catering for American fans. So she's putting on all her biggest hits. There's nothing of 90s Kylie in there. Nothing of PWL, aside maybe from Locomotion. It's all the 2000s onwards. And again, I don't begrudge that. I understand why. But as a fan, if I had travelled all the way over to see her, and Nathan, an hour 15, and everyone's going,
I know.
It's a show, not a tour. I'm getting roasted on Facebook. It's a show, not a tour. It's like, hang on a second. When I was online getting ready to buy tickets for Vegas, because I did go online and I got 4,000 in the queue or whatever, nobody was saying at that point that it was an hour 15. And that would have made a difference to me, to fly halfway around the world for an hour 15. And apparently you've got to watch juggling bare-breasted women before and after it to get to it. No, thank you. I think that's incredibly bad advertising. If I were upfront about it, that's one thing, but I don't think anyone envisaged this was an hour 15. Like
that was what I was going to be going on about.
It's a sampler. It's a sampler. It's not a show. Anyway, So they're my thoughts, and I just sound so negative and I hate it, but that's how I'm feeling at the moment.
I understand though. I do. I completely understand. I mean, from my perspective, I don't necessarily agree with the audience thing, but that's because I love that. I think that's exactly what she wanted, and I
Yeah.
don't think it looks cheap. I think, if anything, people are going to be looking at that and thinking, "Oh my goodness, those people are so lucky," and because it is such a rarity. But I do understand where you're coming from. I just don't necessarily agree with you. But in terms of the runtime, I'm going to be completely honest. I was disgusted. Like, I genuinely was. When I saw that it was a 75-minute show, I was truthfully disgusted. And I wasn't just disgusted at the venue, I was disgusted at Team Kylie. Like, full disclosure, including Kylie, because honestly, I'm going to be completely frank in my opinion. I believe that if I was in Kylie's shoes, if I were in Kylie's shoes and I understood what this was going to mean, and I heard that my show was going to be cut down to 75 minutes for all of the people who are paying hundreds upon hundreds of pounds,
Thousands.
yeah, exactly, like up to thousands, to come and see me, and I was like, oh fuck, well, I'm only doing 75 minutes. I would have turned around and said, well, I'm sorry, but I don't think this is the venue for me. Because she's got a 36-year-long career. 75 minutes, that's barely over 2 minutes per year of her career. It's ridiculous. And you just can't fit everything in. And I was really, really disappointed. But in terms of the show itself...
But, sorry, just before you go on to that, if I actually respect her decision not to turn around and go, hey, this isn't the show or the venue for me. If she had, and the whole advertising and promotion of it had said, this is an evening of cabaret featuring Kylie, and made sure it was really clear that that's 75 minutes, that's okay. When I went to buy tickets, and I keep my ear to the ground, I was fully thinking this was just a pure Kylie show.
I agree.
Yeah, for probably 2 hours. I was probably thinking it was longer than a tour because
I thought it was going to be longer.
Yeah, she doesn't have to pack the plane every night, so I thought it might be a bit longer. Anyway, so in terms of the show itself, what are you thinking from the clips?
Well, just to clarify, I know what you're saying, by the way, with that, but I do still hold Team Kylie accountable. I do, because I'm sorry, but this is one of Kylie's American fan base's only chances to come and see her in a regular format, and for them to cut it short like that, I just think it's wrong. I honestly, I just think it's kind of grim.
To be fair, I've wrestled with this, and I'll put forward another point that maybe is in her favour. There's no intermissions, and dance. Sometimes she goes off the stage in a tour, and she's backstage for about maybe even 8 minutes doing a costume change here. This seems to be 75 full minutes. She barely disappears from the stage, so maybe there's some argument there that you're getting a full 75.
I won't. I won't back down on it. I really don't agree with it. Just like I say, just because this is American fans, one of their only chances, and I just think.
And I'm not mad, am I? This wasn't well known, was it? It's not one of those things where, Tim, if you'd looked at the website, you would have seen it. I'm sure it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Nobody spoke about this until about 2 or 3 days ago, just before the show started.
Yeah, terrible. And don't forget, I know it is. It's a valid point. Most of us, flights, accommodation, travel, time off work, that's a big lie. It's a big lie. If I had packed
100%.
up my suitcase, taken time off work, arranged for the kids, got over there, and then found out it was 75 minutes, I actually would have been ropeable. I would have been ropeable.
I would have been seething. I would have been so angry.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like I said, like just to get onto the show, she sounds phenomenal. I would say Kylie sounds as good right now as she sounded for Aphrodite Les Folies, which is a close second place to her X tour in my opinion for her vocals. Vocally on her X tour, she was exquisite. There was not she was unbelievable.
Flower.
But I would say she's up there at the moment. She sounds incredible.
I can't help falling in love with you. I just thought that was so clever. The nod to the Elvis of Vegas.
Yeah, I love that as well. I do.
And I hadn't seen the clip. I was there in a club having a coffee martini. Or is that what they call it? An espresso martini. And I was glued to the phone, holding everyone at bay because I'm waiting for the first photos to come out. I was dying to see this Vegas show. And I was seeing the updates track by track as she was doing it live. And when I saw Can't Help Falling in Love, just in text, I thought, that would suit her vocals. Because it's a little bit like If You Don't Love Me in style, you know? So I thought that's going to suit her vocals beautifully. Then when I watched it, I thought, yeah, you nailed it. It's perfect for her.
But the only thing that I will say is that maybe make the show a little bit longer than 75 minutes to accommodate for your cover, Kylie, because you've got your own back catalogue.
And if it is 75, don't pump it up with Elvis tracks. Yeah, fair enough.
Exactly.
What do you think about this whole thing that I said about the actual selection of the tracks? Forget 75 minutes. I think we're both on the same page with that. But do you think it was, nothing from PWL and Impossible Princess and early 90s?
The thing that I will say about that though is because of, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that all of the PWL songs weren't actually released in America.
This is where I get to wobble my shoulders a bit with authority and go, education for my man.
Oh, please, yeah, do, because I've just heard that the albums weren't released.
No, they were. Certainly Kylie, the first album, had a big push over there.
Yeah.
Locomotion went really well. The album didn't sell too badly over there too. Enjoy Yourself started. So many projects of Kylie starts and then they abandon it. So they actually have a special, there's a really rare Tears on My Pillow, I think it is, that you can get, and it was only released in the US. It's a funny little mini disc or something like that. So yeah, there were efforts. But if your point is that the Americans don't know that content, I agree with you.
I don't know though. Like, to be honest, I'm just relieved that she's not performing kids. Just completely. Well, the second that I saw there was no kids, I was like, oh right, she's done the best set list in the world. Like,
I was so excited when Kids wasn't in there, and I was also going, oh no, Love at First Sight, thank God, and then it came.
No, like I've got to say though, I would have at least expected Better the Devil You Know.
Yeah, where was that, man? Come on,
I would have
bit
at
of a
least
devil, you know?
expected that. Like, even if she'd have left everything else out, I would have at least expected that.
No, that's a travesty. Actually, that's awful.
Like that, to me, that is a quintessential Kylie song. I mean, she did perform "Confide in Me," you know, but.
And not even that much from Tension. That was the other weird thing for me. I know, again, she's there to please the crowd. Okay, so I get it. I actually am not arguing this point. But I was surprised by the lack of Tension tracks. And then Tension, the song, would have lent itself really well to What Do I Have to Do or Shocked.
Very true. Very true.
Anyway, whatever. Maybe she'll mix it up, Nathan. Maybe she'll.
Well, it seems like she is. It seems it's a little bit more fluid than most of her shows, because I've noticed that she's making small little changes here and there.
Oh, really? Tell me.
Well, Supernova is now a transition song.
Oh, thank God for that.
Like, yeah, well, I've got to say, I actually love it when she performs it, but no, it's now, and it's a fantastic transition as well. It goes from
not into Your Disco Needs You, does it?
Yeah, no, it transitions into Your Disco.
Well, can I tell you, Nathan? See, this is my other problem with the Vegas show. All right, God, I'm negative, but if you're gonna go there, go there. Okay, so she said, bruising, bloodied, sweaty, tears, and I'm thinking, what the? I honestly did. I thought, what is she doing back there? Is Joe Jackson running the show? Why is she bruised and bloody? What's going on? But then when she comes out, it's still really the same program show she's been doing for 2 years.
They've been making small changes. I've noticed, like, for example, Spinning Around is a new version. It's just not that different. It's not that different for or anything like that.
I like it though.
Sorry?
I like it though, yeah.
Well, I agree, because I like this whole big piano vibe that they're going for with Spinning Around. I really like it. I actually think it really jazzes it up and makes it sound a bit fresh.
Totally.
Which I really like. There's something missing in the Vegas show, and people are saying it's low budget. And I don't think it's that. I honestly don't believe it's budgeting that is the problem. And a lot of Kylie fans are going to absolutely castrate me for saying this. But I think it's the lack of William Baker.
Ooh, mummy. Okay.
Yeah, I've gone there. I'm
on then.
going there.
That gay pizzazz is what you're talking about.
You're all going to hate me for it, but I do. I think it's the truth because people are saying like, oh yeah, well, I was expecting extravagance for this Vegas show. And yeah, so was I. But I don't know about you, but what I've noticed is since William Baker left just after Kiss Me Once, her shows are still fantastic. They're still, wonderful shows, but I don't think they have that theatrical side to the same degree that they used to.
Do you know what? I never thought I'd hear the day, but I am agreeing with you.
Yeah,
theatrical was the word that nailed it for me.
Theatrical,
that's gone. The drama of it has gone.
I mean, I would challenge any Kylie fan to watch the Confide in Me live in New York version, the one from the For Me For You tour, and look at the drama
of that chair there, right?
Yeah, the drama of that performance, and tell me that the version of Confide in Me that she's doing now is better. And I do not believe that you could even compare the two, because yes, it's a fantastic performance of Confide in Me. The dancer's doing a brilliant job, but there's not that drama in it. Sorry, I'm losing my...
And actually, yeah, you must be catching my lurgy. Sorry about that. I think you've just nailed for me something that I've been trying to put my finger on for a long time. And
yeah,
but I think you're right. I think that it's lacking that the drama and the theatrics. I couldn't agree more.
I think it's becoming a problem. I'm like wholeheartedly, I do. I think it's becoming a problem because, like I say, the For Me For You tour, it cannot have been that high budget.
So you don't need high budget to have a dramatic theatrical performance.
Exactly. Sure. I honestly was expecting about the same budget, but I was expecting it to be spent differently. I was expecting there to be set pieces. I was expecting there to be an actual set that was being changed, and that's what I was expecting from a Vegas show, because obviously when you do a static show, you've got the gift of time, haven't you? You can set all these things up. So I honestly thought we were going to get a lot more theatrics, and that's what I think is missing. And I do believe that came from William Baker.
Can I read some reviews, though? All right, let's be fair.
No, please.
She's got such goodwill in the media at the moment, because I was thinking, wow, it's been universal. So let's read some of those reviews. From Muse magazine, there aren't any low moments at all. This is an all-killer, no-filler show. Got the Sydney Morning Herald. A last blast of Vegas high, and indeed she is. We've got The Sun, which I think is from your land. A masterclass in performance, wowing a packed house with her most intimate show ever. Well, that's arguable. What about intimate and live? So much of the Kylie show happens in your face, says Perez Hilton. Kylie continues to dominate the United States music scene, says the Daily Mail. Haven't seen an experience like this in Vegas, said the Las Vegas Review Journal.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, fantastic reviews. And like, it's what you said about goodwill, though, at the same time. Like, I do agree with you, because
she can do no wrong.
Yeah, at the moment, she's really riding this high. But the problem is that the media, when they build somebody up like this, we all know what can come. Yes. It might not come for Kylie. It might not. But we all know what can come. And she's one bad mistake away from it.
Oh, God, that's scary, isn't it?
And it's a very... Well, when I had 75 minutes, I thought that was the moment. I'm going to be honest. I did. I thought that's the moment where things are going to topple down, and I was terrified for her. But obviously it's not. But I think she needs to be tiptoeing right now, because she is on the precipice of potentially coming back in 2024, having another huge song, because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but Kylie sounds confident. And I don't know about you, but I can't think of a time that Kylie has been this confident since she released Can't Get Out of My Head. Because when you think about it, Can't Get Out of My Head was debuted on the Light Years tour. on a night like this talk, it came out before it released almost, and she was and like that's her showing off. And when can you think of that Kylie has shown off like this? But Kylie's talking about, oh yeah, well, we've got a lot of collaborators that we're thinking about, and oh, I want to get back in the studio and all this. And I don't believe that Kylie would be saying these things unless she was 50% of the way through an album or more.
Yeah. Oh, look, she's definitely inspired at the moment. That is absolutely for sure. So tell me, let's round this out. What do you think, having seen the Vegas show, pretty much like me, I'm sure you've watched the whole thing on YouTube many times over, probably. What does it mean for the audience with? Are we going to get a version of the Vegas show, or is it going to be totally different? What are your thoughts?
That's a good question. I've been thinking the same. I know that there are duets and collaborations that are going to be happening with an audience with. I don't know what those are. But to be honest with you, if Kylie did this show for an audience with, I would actually be fine with it.
Do you think it translates to television? I don't know. It seems to be very much built for a small venue, not for television.
Yeah, no, but I mean in terms of if she did similar things, obviously she'll adapt them, I'm sure. But if
the set list has to be different. I mean, it has to be, because the UK.
Well, I would at least hope for an early 90s medley.
Oh God, please! I hope. Yeah, no more medleys, Kylie. I want to hear some of those songs in full. But look, the UK have a love affair with Kylie, very different from the United States. So the set list has to be different. Like, she 100%. Couldn't possibly leave Better the Devil You Know out. She can't.
No. I'd like to see a song from the 80s. Just one. Like, because I understand that she's got so many to go through now. But, like, I would like to see something like a Got to Be Certain.
Yeah.
Or Je ne sais pas pourquoi. It doesn't need to be I Should Be So Lucky. Sorry?
Dare I say. Even It's No Secret, dare I say. Which is very
we're not going to agree on that one. But, but like, I would love to see a Je ne sais pas pourquoi. I'd love to see a Hand on Your Heart.
But Nathan, what if that stupid piece of masked man comes out again, like Glastonbury? That was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of that either. Like,
but this is. Do you reckon that was part of a show, or did some creep just crawl up on stage during the song?
No, he was a dancer.
The weirdest. It gave me the heebie-jeebies. I hate. It was
peculiar, though. I do agree.
What was it? I don't know. It was so annoying.
It was a mime, wasn't it?
I guess it's called a mime. Don't like it. I've got to say, we're still in exciting times, Nathan. And Nathan, if people want to find you, can they? And feel free to say no. I always say that to people. You don't have to share your details, but if people do want to reach out, how do they find you?
No, happily. My Twitter is @crazycatgay. So crazy cat, like meow.
Is that what they called you when you stormed out of the Circus O'Gay?
No. It's all very metaphorical. I came up with it when I was very young. Because I think my thinking was I can't be a crazy cat lady who dies alone surrounded by cats, but I could probably be the gay variant.
That's so morbid. Okay. So people can find you on Twitter, or X as it's called now, @crazycatgay. Very good. And you're listening to Time to Talk, everyone. And what do you think? Have Nathan and I been too harsh on the Vegas show? I think we've been rather fair, actually. But we want to know what you think. So if you've got an opinion, now's your time to take out that audio recorder. Just talk into your phone for a couple of minutes and send it to us at timetotalkaustralia@outlook.com. Nathan, it's been great catching up with you.
Same to you, Tim. It's always a pleasure.
And let me know how that dress seems. Let me know how that seamstress is getting along, all right?
Well, I've got to get my corset on first, but as soon as I've done that...
Do you pay her, or does she have to work in the basement for free? Does she have a spinning wheel? Well, guess what? It's almost time to go. I've even had to close the casino downstairs. That's how late it is. Had to close the casino. But before I do, I had a bit of a whinge last week. By the sounds of it, I actually haven't heard myself back, but I assume it was a whinge because Mark from Sydney's sent us his thoughts about the Extension CD or mix, cassette, whatever you want to call it, that's coming out towards the end of the year. And I was talking about my favourite pet subject, which is how Kylie and her team release so many formats of each album and each single and everything, and I do think it's a bit of it's a gouge into the pockets of her fans, and I don't really appreciate it. Well, this is what Mark had to say. Thanks for sending this in.
Hey Tim, I woke up yesterday to see the extension issue of the new Kylie album, and my ears pricked up a little when you indicated a little bit of disapproval. More of the bulk release of the same product in different colours, but I completely agree. But more so, I think it's junking up the market a lot, and there's too much of it at the moment, or always really. And things like the Infinite Disco vinyl, why would you play that in your lounge room when you could watch the Blu-ray? It really doesn't make sense to me. I like the idea of an extension and album. So I like the idea of extended album edits though, and I was expecting to see an extended tension, how do you say it? Extended tension album at some point. But within 3 months of the album release, it's too much too soon. I like with Disco that its extended version came out at the end of the campaign, and I actually really enjoyed hearing that with a bit of separation from the original album right at the end. I think Tension should have more time in its standard form. Like I said, it's too much too soon. And back to your point about money, I don't have a lot of it, and I don't go and buy all the different colours and things like that, but I know a lot of other people do. But for me personally, there's other things I not only need to buy, but want to buy. And I just wish that the rich white lady would keep her eyes off my modest little wallet for a while. That's all. And also back to my point about Infinite Disco. I really like Kylie. I know I sound really negative in what I'm saying at the moment, but I thought that Infinite Disco was a brilliant, innovative, digital, multimedia, creative thing. And artistically, it was designed for streaming and to be a digital experience. And even to put that out as a digital album makes completely sense in the context of what that project is. But then when they put out the vinyl, it's so out of place. It doesn't fit the theme of what Infinite Disco was. And it's just another example of unnecessary junk put out as a cash grab. Had a great weekend. I just thought I'd throw that one out there. Cheers, bye.
Good on you, Mark. It's always brilliant to hear your views. And yeah, I think it would be interesting to see what people think about Kylie being described as the rich white woman. But, you know, we tell the truth on this show, and that's exactly what she is. We love her, but that's what she is. Optics are everything. Well, thank you so much for listening to the show today. We'll be back soon enough, we hope, and there's so much more to talk about in the world of pop culture. As always, if you want to participate, just send us an audio memo. It's on your phone. Record your couple of minutes on any subject you want. It could be an artist that we haven't even spoken about here, or a new piece of music, and email it timetotalkaustralia@outlook.com. You take care of yourself. I'm going to take my cold back to bed.